Hi there, welcome to RedArmy.tv, and our thoughts go out, of course, to the family and friends of Ugo Ekiog, former Borough player who we lost in the past week. With me in the studio, we're going to be looking at Bournemouth, we're going to be looking at Sunderland, we're going to be looking ahead as well to the big boys coming to the Riverside. City are coming. James Lee's a regular on the show. First time on the telly, mate. Welcome.
Ah, yeah, big screen for me now, mate.
Yeah, and a man of poison pen letter as well.
Yeah,
we'll get into that a bit later on.
And
Neil Dyball as well. He's a regular on the show, is Neil. A couple of times on the couch, but do a lot of work behind the scenes as well. So welcome,
definitely,
mate.
I love it. Enjoy it.
We'll start with Bournemouth. Then we'll start gloating over the 1-0 tremendous victory over Sunderland. James, I'll start with you. Bournemouth, how bad a performance was that? Because it was certainly a stuffing.
It was a strange one because it's one of those games where absolutely nothing goes right. It looked like a team with zero direction whatsoever. And I think Bournemouth found it relatively easy. Like, by the time we got like 60, 70 minutes, it was just training ground exercise for them. It was awful. It was really, really bad.
How surprised were you, Neil, at that scoreline and that performance?
Well, I mean, I know the Middlesbrough have a horrid history going down, down in the south, or certainly at Bournemouth, and I scratch my head at sometimes thinking, why do we play certain formations in certain ways, and well, once one person isn't performing at right back. Or centre back, and it just
spreads throughout the team.
It has a domino effect, and other people having to compensate, and then it just all goes wrong. Yeah,
it seemed to, didn't it? What is it about the South Coast, James?
I don't think it's anything to do with the South Coast, to be honest. I think the majority of what's happening at the moment is due to Mr. Agnew, more than anything. How many formations has he had now in so many games for Middlesbrough? You can't blame any South Coast performance or anything like that. It was complete misdirection from the manager in that one.
Well, you've touched on it, so let's go into it. I think is it his 5th or 6th game that was, and there were 5 or 6 different formations to start games.
Yeah.
What does that tell you?
Well, with the whole kind of USP of getting the assistant into the job of taking over from the previous managers, he knows a place. He'll know just what will happen, what will take him over. He obviously doesn't. The lad's clueless, bless him. He's trying his hardest, but it's just not good enough.
What's doing my head near? We've just been beat 4-0. Some players are going to go on Twitter and put a tweet on, right? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm gutted and all this. No, you're not. You're moving on in the summer. You're going for higher wages and stuff like that. You don't care. You're not bothered. Where's your shift? Put your shift in on a Saturday. Do something. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what it costs us to go to games? Do you know what it costs someone to take the kid to go to a game, take the wife to a game, take the family to a game, an arm and a leg? 1 week it could be your gas money, the next minute it could be your lecky money, your food money, but we still go to support our club. We still put things on the line, and you can't put a shift in on a Saturday. Are you mad? Are you kidding me? 4-0 when we need to win, 5 at the back and we need to win. 8 years in the making, we've gone down without a fight. Not even a whimper. Absolute joke. It hurts. It absolutely hurts. It kills us.
Is that harsh?
He knows the players because obviously he's been with the club that long, and he shouldn't know the system and maybe how we play best.
Should know how to get the maximum out of the players.
Well,
should know
certainly
what they do right. Should know the best formations for them to be effective. Is that what you're saying?
Sometimes when I watch Middlesbrough, it's as if we've not trained together within the last week, and they're just all getting together on a Saturday thinking, right, you're on his side, and then and the way they're playing, the way they're interacting, they're talking to each other, it's just like it doesn't seem like they've met each other before at times.
I've got to ask about Gaston. What do you make about Gaston?
Well, he doesn't want to be, does he?
Did he make that plainly clear?
Well, he made it plainly clear in January. I don't know why his opinion would ever change. He don't want to be here. He played a little bit the martyr when he got sent off on Saturday, but he knew exactly what he was doing. He didn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be here since the whole Leicester thing came about, so why play him? If you don't want to be here, there's somebody else who can come in and do a job.
OK, that's the bad news. So we've got that one out of the way. Midweek, of course, was Sunderland. Thankfully, we tasted our first victory of 2017. Not quite sure of the taste because I haven't savoured it for quite so long. That was a joke before you start writing. I was going to say a cracking 1-0 win. Hardly was, but we'll kick all this off with the fans' views. Here are the rants. Mark's been out with the camera.
Poor, very poor.
I missed MasterChef.
Two bad teams, but a win's a win. Come on. I'm not allowed to swear, man.
Not really.
Not too bad. Should have played Traore from the beginning. He'd have ripped the defence to bits. And Bamford, for me.
I think it's a good win. You know, clean sheet, no goal in, always gives you a chance of winning. That's exactly what we did. So I'm very pleased, and the fight goes on.
Well, happy enough with the scoreline, probably not the performance. James, we'll start with you. Great ball by Clayton, good finish by Darun. We were all happy at that point, weren't we?
Yeah. I think we were. Like the first half, I thought it was quite good. We tried something different, which was through the middle. We never seemed to do that. We always can't like to get it out wide, and then suddenly the ball doesn't want to go in the box and it just gets passed around nicely and nothing ever happens. But we tried something through the middle, a bit more direct, and it works. Put off the shoulder, get in behind, it works. Simple, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is actually. We should have done it 6 more times because they were crap. Neil, it was interesting when the sub came, or there were a couple of subs came, but when Negredo came off, there were boos inside the stadium. Are you surprised to be hearing boos there?
Well, I mean, it's. I don't know if his attitude's changed. I mean, I've not.
I don't think they were booing
sensed
him.
any
I
kind
mean,
of attitude.
James, you might have read it differently.
Yeah.
I thought they were booing the decision to take him off.
Yeah.
I
think it was more that.
It wasn't a boot to Negredo, it wasn't a boot to Gestede, it was a boot to Mr. Agnew for like, what the hell are you doing here?
Yeah, because it was striker for striker.
Right.
Again.
Yeah. I guess that really it's you want your best strikers on the pitch all the time. So I could understand the hesitance because Sunderland were pressing. Oh, sorry, no, they weren't pressing. We were falling back, inviting them on, which it's not really what you want to be doing when you've got a 1-0 lead and you're scrapping for points. And certainly, great, our first win this year. So
yeah, well, there were boos out there, and you've mentioned Agnew, so we did have a camera in the press conference. This is what he had to say after the game.
Yeah, great goal. I mean, off a good shape, fantastic pass from Adam Clayton, and then obviously a forward run from Martin Darun, which he does very well, and he finished it off nicely. Yeah, amazing. The fans were terrific, and as I said to the players, there's not such a thing as a easy northeast derby. It's full of passion, and that's how the game was, and we couldn't ask any more of the supporters. Amazing support throughout the game.
Steve Agnew, full of praise for the fans and the atmosphere they created within the stadium. James, you touched on it was a decent first half. Quite the opposite in the second half.
Yep, very much so. Very much so.
What was the difference in your eyes?
The difference, I think...
Apart from good, bad. What was the reason?
It there, we invited them to come and play at us. I mean, Sunderland are an absolutely terrible footballing team. They are poor. The only team I've seen poorer than us this season. And we invited them to come at us. And to be honest, I'm very surprised they didn't score. And I don't know why we done that. I felt sorry for Negredo second half. The ball was getting lumped up towards him way too early. What's he supposed to do like that? When the ball was getting played central and players coming off in the first half, we were doing things. The midfield was supporting, it was working quite well. Second half we weren't doing it. We were going back to what we were doing, such as Watford game and things like that. We didn't look like scoring, didn't do anything second half. It was awful.
It would have been nice to take them to the cleaners, wouldn't it?
Oh, definitely, because I mean, obviously they're the kind of teams you want to play and really play well against as your local rivals, so that you can go into work the next day and say, we won, or to whoever else supports them. And certainly at my place, anyway.
It's always nice to get the double over Sunderland, isn't it? Because that's, I mean, one crumb of comfort. I've accepted that we're down, but one slight crumb of comfort for me is we did the double over the Mackhams, so we're quite happy with that. Right, more to come very shortly. Of course, Ugo Ehiogu we mentioned earlier. James Barker's been taking a look at his career.
Borough player Ugo Ehiogu sadly passed away last Friday after collapsing at Tottenham Hotspur's training ground. The former England international came to Middlesbrough in 2000 when Brian Robson broke the club transfer fee record and paid Aston Villa £8 million. He was part of the 2004 League Cup final team, beating Bolton Wanderers and winning Borough's first and only piece of silverware, securing them entry into the UEFA Cup. He ended up staying at the Riverside for almost 7 years and formed a formidable central defence with his former Aston Villa partner Gareth Southgate. Standing at almost 6 foot 2 inches tall, he was a mountain of a defender, and although he had his fair share of injuries, he was always a club and fan favourite when on the pitch. Following his retirement from playing football in 2013, he entered the world of coaching, where he worked with both England's under-20 team and the Tottenham Hotspur's academy. Hugo collapsed on Tottenham Hotspur's training ground following a heart attack and later passed away the following day in hospital.
Welcome back, part two. A bit of social media to get through. First up, Martin Daroon's been tweeting immediately after the Sunderland game. Every time I think I've experienced pure joy at this club, I experience it again. We keep fighting till the end. Nice one, Martin. Talking about social media, Matt Bland's been out and about. Here he is.
Thanks, Dave. Well, what a response we got on social media after we put the question out there. Should Borough fans feel sorry for Steve Gibson? Can't mention them all today, but here's a few that we've picked out. Starting off with Borough Nix. He said, no, he appointed Agnew. Gibson is the reason we are going down. Stan Borough 1962 sent as an absolute epic. He said, no investment, no ambition, no idea. The fans are the best in the league. Mr. Gibson, take the money and go. He continued by saying, championship investment, not good enough to survive Premier League, and no investment in another manager. Hunty House, did say that right. Yes, because he cares deeply, but no, because he's allowed recruitment like he allowed Strachan. We have players under contract, hard to shift. And finally, Peg 1989, no investment, don't make me laugh. Keep your comments coming in to us here at Borough Red Army. Back to you, Dave.
I think it's fair to say there's a lot of frustration coming from certain groups of supporters over the direction of the club at the moment, and a lot of pointed questions been asked towards the chairman, Steve Gibson. Neil, is it fair, this criticism that Gibbo's starting to face?
You can understand the fans being a bit touchy and a bit, you know, almost like there's lack of ambition in it. I can understand Steve has put money into the club and all the things he's done for the area. But
he's been around for quite a number of years as well at the club, hasn't he?
Definitely. I mean, I went to one of the fan nights at Ayrton Park back then, and it was obviously showing plans for the Riverside and what he was hoping it to be, and it all looked very impressive. But sometimes I think you need another voice to tell you, you know, where you're going wrong, maybe, or where you can improve. Maybe an input of money in as well to try and further the team on, and because sometimes you can stagnate if you sit with the same thing. So, you know, change is as good as a...
It's an interesting it's an interesting word you use there, stagnate, James. You are Mr. Poison Pen Letter. We mentioned it last week, and I think I know you've taken a bit of flack. Here it is, letter to Mr. Gibson. Do you want to give us the basics behind it?
The bullet points behind it. Ultimately, it's. I don't know whether it was the right thing to do, but I felt the need to vent. It came about is when we got promoted after the Brighton game, Steve Gibson came out and said, we're going to give this a right go. So in my mind, and a lot of the fans' mind is, that's financially, that means on the pitch. So we look at Burnley, we look at Bournemouth who absolutely took us to the cleaners last week. If you look at their team on paper, is it better than ours? Probably not. But they've got a team that does something to win home games, same as Burnley. And I thought, you know what, get us 10 wins at home, a few points away from home, be fine. But what we've done this season, I feel has been the whole 7 years previous, a complete waste of time. Because I feel I've been robbed of a football season, I really do. As a fan, I'm completely frustrated.
Robbed of an opportunity?
Well, not even an opportunity. If we got a few more home wins this season and we played a bit better, gave the teams a go, I'd be fine. If Steve Gibson didn't say that at the end of last season and he said, do you know what, it's our first time in here in 7 years, it's probably going to be a bit of a struggle. I'd be like, do you know what, I've renewed my ticket anyway, it's fine. I'm expecting that. Not a problem. And then if this season panned out how it was, do you know what? The board said it was going to be like that. I was expecting it, not a problem. Because I was expecting something a bit more because of how the expectations have been set, I feel I've been robbed of the season. I feel this 7 years previous to this year, been a complete waste of time. Sat there in that Huddersfield game, as I pointed out in the letter, watching the players come out and there's like 12, 13,000 fans there, thinking, what is happening to my football club? And then obviously the Karanka appointment came not fat long after that. We moved on, we kicked on, we got promoted. I think, nice one, this club's back now. There's 30,000 people through that gate. And then we've absolutely wasted it.
Interesting. And it's a debate that's going to go on and on, without a shadow of a doubt, depending on what results come through the door as well, with a handful of games left.
To point out on that letter is, like, a lot of people come out saying, oh, you can't have a go at Steve Gibson, you can't do this, can't. I have not had a go at Steve Gibson.
And I've read that. I've read that.
I've not had a go at Steve Gibson. I've addressed it to him because he's a Middlesbrough fan and he's the owner of our football club. So that's who I'm going to address it to. He has put a lot of trust in a lot of people at this football club this season who have let him down, who have ultimately let the club down, have let the fans down. But ultimately, it's him who answers because he's the owner of this football club. Okay.
Well, it'll run and run, and we'll probably get back to chatting about it as well before the season's out and after the season's gone, I'm sure. It's time for us to move on. We've got to catch up with the latest goings-on. Here's Heidi with the news.
MFC has been shortlisted for several hospitality awards, including Director's Choice, Matchday Hospitality and Medium Stadium Matchday Hospitality. This prestigious event aims to recognise dedication and effort shown by the catering, conference and events team in every football and rugby stadium across the UK. The awards will take place in the new main stand at Anfield, home to Liverpool Football Club, on Thursday the 1st of June. Over £1,000 has been raised in a charity event at Mass Cricket Club in memory of Alistair Brownlee. The event was able to recognise the contribution made to the Motor Neuron Disease Fund, with posthumous award to Alistair Brownlee, plus awards to Borough legend Bernie Slaven and Mask United FC legend Peter Collinson. They received a framed certificate and badge from the MND Association, recognising 10 years in helping with awareness and fundraising. RedArmy TV is on the search for Borough's biggest fan. Think to Score, the #1 football quiz app, is finally here and it will be launched this weekend. The game is really simple. You are given a question of 4 choices and have to find the correct answer before your opponent. If you succeed, the ball advances further up the field until you score. Are you as good as you think? Install the app now and test your skills. And if you have any Borough-related news, please get in touch with us. Email studio@redarmy.tv or via social media at Borough Red Army. And back to you, Dave.
Thanks for that, Heidi. Cracking night we had just a handful of nights ago last Saturday at Jamie Pollock's place. Craig Hignett, a night with Iggy. I was there with him asking him all the questions, talking about his life and his career and giving him the big red book. So we thought we'd give you a flavour of it. Here he is, the man himself.
Well, I'm gutted because I want Borough in the Premier League. I think everyone wants Borough in the Premier League. We want to see the best players come to the Riverside and play football. I think the writing's been on the wall for a long time now. If there is a criticism, I would probably say we left it too late to change. Steve Agnew really's put in a difficult position. He's got a team that isn't good enough, and he's got to try and do something with it, and it's been an almost impossible job for him.
So Higgy, quite frank, quite open, quite honest, and we appreciated that other night. It was a cracking night. And guess what this is, fellas? This is the boot. This is the right boot that Higgy wore in the first game at the Riverside, that struck the ball, that scored the very first goal at the Riverside. That must be worth a few quid to well-off Borough collectors, Borough fans. There you go, you can have a touch.
Wow.
That was Higgy's boot that scored the first goal at the Riverside.
Bit of history, I was there.
Yeah, so was I. Couldn't wait to get in.
Wow.
Can see James' eyes
small
there.
Feet.
Just can't wait to smell it, to be honest. Still smelling him. I don't smell of him anymore.
Higgy sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's still got dirt on the bottom from the. He didn't clean it.
Yeah,
it's got muck from the pitch.
Yeah, obviously his Whitey Yes didn't clean his boots very well, did they?
No.
You warmed him a few too many times as well.
Giving it to Jamie Pollock now. The leather's getting a bit stiff, but there you go. A bit of history for you. Good bit of Borough history there. You're going to cuddle it now for the rest of the show.
Yeah, you're not getting this back there.
Fellas, we've got to look ahead. 6 points the gap. Is it foolish of me to even suggest that win against Sunderland might have actually given us a shout of staying in the Premier League?
Yes.
All right, then, thank you. Neil, what do you reckon?
Well, I think we've got every good a chance of staying up, you know what I mean?
Oh,
it's
man. It's not glasses half full.
Where those rose-tinted glasses you had on her?
Yeah, absolutely. Man City coming to town. What are we going to do?
Well, I mean, I didn't expect us to get a draw at their place, and certainly we could have even snatched it. Well, we got a really late winner from Mr. Daroon again. Yeah,
well, he equalised. But the Beats just put one over the bar as well from the halfway line.
So, I mean,
what do you reckon?
I'd like to say we could win, but I mean, it's Man City. I mean, they're not going to fall for the same team twice, are they?
Are we gonna be put to the sword, James?
Yeah, 100%. We're gonna get absolutely rinsed, I think, on Sunday. I really do. Yeah, I'm expecting City to come out all guns blazing, beat us 4-0. I really am. I think Mr. Agnew is going to get shown up yet again. I hate to say it. I hate it. I hate my football club being like this, but it's a sign of the times. He is going to get shown up.
Can we do backside in bins windows if the Borough beat them?
100%, but who wants to see my backside?
Okay.
So he's got a better bottom than me, hasn't he?
Predictions, you said
4-0 City.
4-0. What are you going to go? Prediction scoreline?
I'd like to say 0-0, but I think it's probably going to be something like 3 to them.
Okay, so it's all City victories on this one. We'll catch you next week. See you.